I'm Vanessa Keaton, and 15 years ago, I was breaking the law, hurting my family, and stuck in an addiction I thought I couldn't escape. Now, with over a decade of sobriety, my mission is to help anyone I meet find recovery and live recovery. For the next half hour, we are answering tough questions, having hard conversations.
We can overcome this terrible, terrible disease called addiction that's just robbed and ravaged our communities.
And showing you the inspirational stories of what a world away from substance abuse looks like.
I really feel like the sky is the limit.
Let's get started. Welcome to Inside ARC, presented by Addiction Recovery Care. Hi everyone, and welcome to Inside ARC, presented by Addiction Recovery Care. I'm Vanessa Keaton. This show is pretty simple, but can be life-changing. Inside ARC is a time for us to come together to have tough conversations about addiction and recovery, as well as to offer hope to anyone out there who needs help. We all know someone in addiction, or maybe you yourself have been struggling for years. We want to help you. It's as simple as that. During the entire show, we have people waiting by the phone who you can call to answer your questions and help you find a treatment solution for your addiction. All you have to do is call the number at the bottom of the screen. With that being said, let's get started. Today's Recovery Spotlight is a story that is very personal to me. That's because it's my story. My story of addiction is one that took me from being a bright high school student with a big future to being a slave to an addiction that should have killed me. Thankfully, as you will find out, though it felt like I was alone, I never was.
Welcome back. The resurgence of heroin has grown to just epidemic levels in Kentucky.
And we're joined today by Vanessa Keaton with Addiction Recovery Care.
Vanessa hid a dark side from her family.
You see, as a child and a young teen, there is no one in my life who would have ever imagined I would have become a drug addict.
Vanessa began shooting up pills, lost her job, stole to support her habit, and did some time in jail.
Vanessa Keaton was the first client to ever walk through the doors at Addiction Recovery Care.
Vanessa Keaton, Vice President of Marketing, grew up in Martin County and spoke about her drug addiction the first time she took drugs.
New data from the CDC shows more than 2,300 Kentuckians die due to drug overdoses in 2021.
And Vanessa, we do appreciate you speaking with us on the occasion of these troubling numbers.
And Vanessa, you have your own story to tell.
God uses my story every day as hope for people who walk through the doors in any of the facilities around ARC.
That's mine.
You owe me money.
This is mine.
You owe me money. That's my property.
This is mine.
Picked up on that.
I feel like there's a lot more to know about me than, just being ARC's first client. That's awesome. Can you start moving me? I ended up, just by chance, being the one who decided to truly recover out loud. I decided early on that, I was going to make it a mission, part of the mission in my life, that if I could do it, I wanted everyone else to know that they could do it too. And so, people, that's what I've been known for years and years. I started using drugs and alcohol, honestly, to fit in. And this whole thing of, I was completely obsessed with the thought of wanting to be cool. And I thought that those people, they were cool in my eyes at that time, which is so weird. But that's kind of what started me into dabbling in and trying drugs and alcohol. And I had no idea that I was going to be one of those people who couldn't stop. And then it ended up robbing 13 years of my life.
We would see her at Easter and Christmas, and that was about it. I never thought she would hurt anybody. That was never part of it. But the fear of waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and something told you to wake up and pray because you hadn't heard from her in 2 days.
In the beginning of my addiction, you know, my mom, she did not want to admit to herself or anyone else that I could possibly have had a problem. But then as the dynamic started to change and my addiction started to get worse, I mean, she saw me begin to dwindle away. And she saw the girl that was once vibrant and young and full of life, just that fire inside of me started going away. She got to the point finally at the very, very end where I wasn't allowed to come to her house anymore. And I cannot imagine as a mother telling my child that they can't come to my house anymore. But that was the best thing that she could have ever done.
I was the mother who said, you don't quit because you don't want to quit. And I understand now that was the wrong answer.
They knew Vanessa. I'm a natural strategizer, so I could figure out like 4 different escape routes to anywhere I was going. Like, you know, they knew what I was doing then. They had kept up with me enough to know that there were times where I was bringing drugs back to Martin County when I was living out of town. And yeah, I definitely had a target on my back.
My name is Garner David Priest. I was a Martin County Sheriff for 12 years. All the Davids knew Vanessa. They knew that she hung around with people that took drugs and sold drugs. And if I could find a reason to get her off the street, I did that.
When I was in the courtroom for the charges that I had received in fall of 2010, Keenis Maynard was the county attorney at the time, and he had watched me grow up my whole entire life. His son went to school with my sister, and he looked at me that day in front of the judge and said, I will not have your death on my conscience. You are going to do a year in jail, or you are going to go to treatment. And, you know, my mom stepped in, and if it wasn't for her, I would have still never made it through the doors at Karen's place.
She was gone from my house 6 days before she called back and said, they've got a bed for me, and I will go to treatment if you will help me. And I said, I'll help you if you mean it, but if you don't, I'm out.
I would have never imagined that I would be where I'm at in life. My whole idea of people like me, what happened to them was they were going to be found dead with a needle in their arm one day. Like, that was really the only hope that I had for my life at all. I mean, I tell people all the time I couldn't have dreamed of the life that I have today when I was a kid. Like, when you're in 2nd or 3rd grade dreaming of what kind of life you want to have, the life that I could have dreamed of then wasn't nearly as good as the life I have today.
When I see her, I see hope. And when I see her, I can see what God can do in people's lives.
God allowed her to live through all that mess to bring her to where she is now so she can help other people.
Whom I'm most thankful for. When it comes to my recovery journey, I'm the most thankful for my mom. If it wasn't for my mom, there's no way that I would have made it through the doors there. You know, I tell people all the time, I'm like, I'm so sorry you don't have a Congetta. I'm so sorry that you don't, you know, and I tell other people, I'm like, be a Congetta for someone, you know, be that person that goes the extra mile to see that they actually make it there. You know, help them navigate the hard things when it comes to hopping through all the hoops that it takes to hop through, to make the phone calls and make the connections and all these things. Like, help someone do that, because if it wasn't for her, I would have never made it. I'm really glad to let you know that my mom is right here with me today. So Mom, thanks for being here. I'm so excited to have you on this show. This show is going to be really special for me, you know, that everyone just got to watch my story, and I know that's hard for us. You know, it's hard for me sometimes to really think back to how bad things were, and I'm sure that you feel the same way about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, I know that there were so many emotions, and I know our relationship was so broken throughout my addiction, you know, all due to the fact of, you know, I was doing so many things that I shouldn't have done. So I know that you experienced a lot of fear. So tell me about one of those moments that you can remember where you were the most fearful about my life.
Probably when I removed you from the house. That was the worst. And no mom should ever have to do that.
I agree.
But I had to. I was to the point I couldn't function and you weren't functioning.
Yeah.
So that was hard.
Yeah. You know, I know it was hard, and I've said so many times throughout my recovery story that that moment was beyond necessary. You know, it had to happen, because just you allowing me to stay at your house and keep a roof over my head was allowing me to continue in my addiction. And I couldn't imagine telling my son and your grandson that he couldn't come home, and I really couldn't do that. And to be brave enough to be able to do that, I mean, I commend you on that today. So I know that obviously things have changed so much in both of our lives, since those times, and I'm so glad that they're behind us. And we've worked through so many different issues on the family side of things to be able to get to a point to where we're able to communicate well, right, and be able to be a whole family unit again. But I know that there was a time in my addiction when you felt completely hopeless. And I know I felt hopeless. There were years that I felt hopeless. I didn't think I would ever overcome addiction. But tell me about how that felt as a parent to, one, see your daughter feeling that hopeless about life, and what it felt for you to feel like that.
The hopelessness was hard, but I didn't know how to process it. So knowledge is power, and I've learned a lot of things in the last 12 years. But knowing that you were hopeless because you didn't think there was a way out. And I was upset and mad because you wouldn't get out. So it wasn't a good process right then.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that's really important for people to understand. Neither one of us understood addiction at all. We didn't understand it. I didn't know where it came from. I didn't know why I couldn't quit. Right. And you didn't either.
Right.
And so there was a lot of anger between us. Yeah. And is there anything about that you want to talk about?
I think the anger masks what you really feel, because the hurt and the worry and the crazy is the worst part, and you don't know what to do or how to process. So there was a lot of anger, and I had to distance myself. There was a time when you lived away, and there was years that I would call and say, "Are you breathing?" Because that's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you would say, "Are you breathing?" and you would literally hang up the phone.
I did.
I know, but as a parent now, thinking about the shape that I was in, and you were so angry at me, and I was making so many bad decisions, and I understand that, I'm sure I would have felt the exact same way, but still yet you loved me.
I did.
You wanted to know that I was at least alive and breathing, even if you didn't have it in you to want to be able to continue any kind of conversation at that point in time. And I do remember those times when that happened.
I think some parents feel the same way because they don't know there's help out there. They don't know there's a way out. Yeah. And if you don't know, you can't fix. Yeah. And mine was just to say, quit.
I know.
And that was not the answer.
I know. Yeah, and I spent years thinking there was just something, I was just a bad person. I spent years believing that, something was wrong with me, and for some reason I was just this horrible person for all of the things that I was doing, not understanding at all the disease of addiction.
No.
And you saying, you should just quit. Well, I didn't understand why I couldn't just quit. Yeah. And so being educated on that and really understanding what addiction is, how it affects the brain, what it does to the person and why they end up making the decisions that they make, understanding that now allows us both to be able to have compassion for people who are struggling with addiction. Yeah. Obviously, our lives have changed drastically,
yes.
And I know that you actually work right here with me at Addiction Recovery Care. So I want you to tell me a little bit about how that came about, where you're at now in your career with Addiction Recovery Care, and how you feel like our experience, mine as your daughter in addiction and your experience as a mother of someone in addiction, how that's able to help you in your job today.
Once she went to treatment, I volunteered and helped a little bit at the center, and they, I guess they saw I wasn't that bad, because once you were sober, I was kind of nice again. And it's kind of crazy, but they asked me about being staff, and I began as residential staff 10 years ago. Yeah. So with that thought, who would have ever believed that all the years I was angry and mad that it could be turned around, and now I could help somebody else's.
Yeah.
It's good.
It is good. It is good. And, I get to interact with the clients here at ARC, and they all know you, and they all love you. And it's so beautiful because I get to say, I'm so glad that you have my mom for this season, and that's really how I feel, because there was never a time where you weren't a good mother. We just didn't understand what was going on, and my addiction was destroying our entire family.
I tell the clients sometimes, someone else loved you because I couldn't at that time.
Yeah.
And now I get to love all them.
Yes, you absolutely do. And you do a great job at it.
Thank you. I'm doing local Louisa centers right now. I have 3 Phase 3 centers and 1 Phase 1 center that I'm working with, and I have been doing regional work for the company for about the last 4 years, which is kind of crazy that I would be here now. Yeah. I'm very thankful.
That's awesome. Well, I'm really proud of you, and I'm really proud of us, because I know we've came a long way.
For sure.
So thank you so much for being here with me today and getting to share your story and my story with our audience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We looked for months to figure out where we wanted to be. It's so nice to be right here at home. We've worked with Dr. Jude and Amanda, and they'll talk to us, and they'll check on the boys after visits. It's like they can connect with kids, and they can get on kids' levels, and it's just something that you don't get with kids all the time, and I feel like they really do listen and care. And we plan on staying here with them. Hopefully they can follow them through. This is a gym in Louisa.
Torchlight Studio is your home for Appalachian music, from bluegrass to folk, gospel, and even rock and roll. Our team has spent most of their lives bringing these sounds to not just local airwaves, but airwaves across the country. Our team includes Grammy winners with decades of experience.
But we have top flight equipment, we have good knowledge, we know what to do here, so we can do anything that's needed.
Head on over to torchlightstudio.org to schedule a studio session or learn more.
Second Chance Auto is a full-service garage that prides itself in offering the highest quality of automotive repair and customer service. We provide tires and wheels, oil changes, tune-ups, and more while utilizing state-of-the-art equipment. At Second Chance Auto, we're changing lives while changing tires.
What do we believe about people in addiction? We believe that nobody is too far gone. We believe recovery doesn't just mean finding life away from addiction. Recovery also means helping them get back up. At Addiction Recovery Care, those with substance use disorders have access to the medical treatment they need to get better. Because we believe coming to treatment is only temporary, and home is where you belong.
The historic Garden Theater is a lively gathering place for music, theater, and much more. Home to the Mountain Movers Theater Company, the theater has a rich history dating back to 1921. Repaired and refurbished in 2019, the Garden Theater is a beautiful reminder of Louisa's rich history and a space showcasing the area's bright future.
When considering treatment, people often wonder what options do they have for a career on the other side. Kaylin Stewart found her passion through an internship at Addiction Recovery Care. Here is her crisis to career story.
Millard College, this is Kaylin. Can I help you?
Kaylin Stewart is an intern at Millard College.
All of our programs are able to be completed in 6 months or less.
I probably would not have believed in my madness that I'd been working out of college. Addiction for me just took me to a very low place as far as self-esteem goes. I really did think that I had no future when I was in the madness. Everything that has come to pass since I've been in recovery is just amazing to me. I'm just in awe of what God can do for people every day.
Kaylin is celebrating a little over a year in recovery after spending 10 years in her addiction. Looking back, she has this to say to her younger self.
18 is about the age it started for me. I guess I would try to tell my 18-year-old self just to make smarter decisions, to think about the future instead of thinking about the right now.
Kaylin applies that same advice to her life today, and she looks forward to going to work each day to learn from those who are just a few steps ahead of her.
When I walk upstairs every day, I'm just really grateful for the people that I work with and the things that I get to do. Being a part of the actual crisis to career part of the ARC model is important to me. It's really the turning point where interns get to see that they have a future, they have a career, and that's life-changing for us. At Millard College as a whole, we advocate for our students, and we work really hard every day to make sure that they get the support that they need to continue their education.
Come join us at Masterpiece Cafe. We are conveniently located in downtown Louisa and are your one-stop shop for specialty coffee drinks and made-from-scratch baked goods. Comfortable seating inside that is surrounded by local art from the tri-state region or outside on our back deck. Or grab your order to go.
Three Sisters Events, Rentals, and Designs is your one-stop shop for your event needs. When you book with us, we can get you the space, the supplies, and all the help you need coordinating your event. Send us your inspiration photos and let us create designs specific to you. Next up, set up a free consultation with us and our team will develop a plan and estimate to meet your budget. If you have an upcoming event, head on over to our website at threesistersevents.com to learn more. At Masterpiece Kitchen, we offer catering services and baked goods. Our renowned team is well known locally for their quality service and amazing abilities. At Masterpiece Kitchen, we're passionate about providing top-of-the-line catering services to fit your needs. Masterpiece Kitchen is also working towards being accredited to offer a degree in culinary arts. Check out Masterpiece Kitchen in Louisa and give us a call at 606-225-8675.
Hey, so what's up? I'm Matt Robinson, and I've been in I was active addiction for over 20 years, and this is 3 things I want to say to you if you're in active addiction is 1, you really can't do this alone. 2, there really is a better way to live, and it's available. And 3, man, if you could have figured this out and beat it, you already would have.
Welcome back. We like to take you behind the scenes here at Addiction Recovery Care so you can see what to expect at a facility. Our Creekside facility serves dozens of men and is located in Knott County. We're excited to take you inside Creekside, where people find recovery daily.
Creekside is a men's residential treatment facility nestled between the mountainous terrain of Knott County. The community is rich with Native American and coal mining history. Like its name, Creekside is a quaint destination for men to focus simply on their recovery and ignore the distractions. At Creekside, men can enjoy community rooms, group rooms, full cafeteria, and outdoor areas, and much more.
For more information about Creekside, visit us on arccenters.com. Now it's time where we answer some of your questions about addiction and recovery. This week, we're answering the question, will I be allowed to have contact with my family as a client of addiction recovery care? The answer is yes. As long as you sign a release of information for your family member, they can call the center to check on you during business hours. At day 7, you will be allowed to make your first phone call. You will get weekly phone calls after that. Family visits start once you enter into the second phase of our program. For more information, please visit our website at www.arccenters.com. Well, that's all for this edition of Inside Arc. If you need help, please do not hesitate to reach out. We are here to help you. For now, we'll see you next time on Inside Arc.
My son's name is Casey, and he died from the disease of addiction, an overdose to heroin at the age of 23. He was a character. Casey was a guy that everybody thought was just a cool guy. He just enjoyed life. When we were in crisis with Casey, we were not allowed to do anything to intervene on his disease. We were told he had to want to, lose enough, and hit bottom. And while we were waiting for all those things to happen, Casey died. I will always be Casey's mom, whether he's here or not. And I'm grateful for that because Casey taught me a lot of things. I knew that Casey had not been the first person to overdose, and I knew he wasn't going to be the last, and that there will be other families like ours who needed help when it was still possible for that person to recover.
Casey's Law for me, well, first of all, it was a decision that my family made for me that I could not make for myself at the time. Like, I knew I wanted to get sober, but I didn't know exactly how. I tell everybody this, I will always be grateful for Casey's Law. I would not be here right now. I know that. There's no way. There is no way. I've never been more grateful in my life. Like, I had to have somebody make a decision for me, whether I wanted it to be done or not, or there was no way I would be here. No way.
I really didn't realize at the time when he died that his life would have such an impact on so many other people's lives. But I know that Casey does live on in the lives of other people who are now in recovery, in part because of Casey's Law.
When they have nowhere to go and they feel hopeless and helpless and that they've exhausted all resources that they have, like, they have Casey's Law.
I never wanted anyone to forget that he was here and that his life mattered.